Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Welcome to being here wherever you are on our amazing planet. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia.
Today's theme, no need to go backward or forward. I actually love this topic because, sometimes when it gets really, really hot, you're like, oh man, wouldn't it be nice if it was cooler? Or it's really, really cold, or you have dark and dreary days. It's like, when will summer get here?
Never. Never gets there then.
Not in that moment. We were joking around. We have our producers, Judy, today. We have a couple of lovely guests with us. We were joking around about how you can always travel to Costa Rica.
That's right.
Let's talk about being here.
Well, let's talk about listening.
Well, that's a great way to introduce yourself to being here.
That's right. Because, we've been trained with the idea that multitasking is really cool. It's the best way to be, that gets so much done. But the reality is that when you multitask, you only go from one thing to another anyway.
And just quickly toggle.
Exactly. And when you're actually doing what you're doing, not trying to get somewhere else, but in the process of what you're about, you get much more done effortlessly. It's when you're having to break off in the middle of a project to do something else and come back, that constant fragmentation keeps you from truly being wherever you are. Well, listening is a unique skill set that most of us never even realize exists. We think we listen, but basically what we do is think about what's being said to see if it fits with what we already know. Now, this keeps us in a constant state of comparison of what is to what was. So you compare what's right in front of you to what you already know from your past, and you create an example, or no, the word I'm looking for is like you create the same thing you knew from the past over again with slight overtones of different. So it's like what you already know. Everything new is like what you already know.
I had a flash when you were searching for the word you were looking for, and I filled in what he's talking about. A template. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't have computers then, and we didn't have a lot of the details that we have now. So if you wanted to create a sign, for instance, you could buy a stencil and you'd put the A on, and then you would like spray paint and it would fill in the A. So, and then the R for Ariel. So then it was pretty laborious, but by the end you could have a word. And it occurs to me, it's almost as like we have these stencils from our past over top of our experience. So the experience sprays in, but the
only thing that gets captured is what you know.
What you already know, because the stencil is over top of it, and it stops the wider.
Oh, I love that. I love that example.
The wider vision of color and experience gets wiped away.
Well, let's slow down again. You said a word just now. You said the word experience. See, your experience takes place in your senses: what you see, what you smell, what you touch, what you feel, what you hear. It takes place as an experience. Life shows up as an experience, and then it gets codified into words. And so we compare what is to what was to understand what is, but now you have a reworked example of what was. So you never have the experience that's possible. But listening, interestingly enough, pulls you into the current moment of your life, into your experience of living rather than your thoughts about it.
Mm.
You know, I had a difficult night last night. I woke up thinking I wasn't enough. I haven't done enough with my life. And I found that very interesting because I've done a lot in this life. But you can never do enough to satisfy your mind. You know, that's an insatiable machine.
I was listening recently to a Santana song, and it was one that came out at some point uh, after he had produced an album called Supernatural that went super platinum. It was very, very, very successful. And the song lyric is, "Since supernatural, nothing has changed. Still bopping heads on the uptown train." And I realized it was kind of like they're saying, look, we reached all this success
and we
and I'm
expected
still
so
the
much more.
same.
Same,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, let's take our first guest.
Okay.
Hey, Zoe, welcome to being here.
Hey, thank you so much. So
I'm
great.
not surprised. Thank you. So great to have you. I'm not surprised I'm seeing stencils since you're an art teacher and you probably use them with your young kids.
Yeah, I was laughing as you guys were talking because so many of the things you were saying, I'm like, I wonder if they're pulling that from my brain.
It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love the theme of you don't have to go backward or forward. And well, it feels like a time of year where it's very enticing to go forward or backward and compare and make resolutions. And I've just been having a really lovely time. Like I find the holidays sometimes like a challenging time. But lately, I've had some time off from work and it's been fun to just have my day unfold and be a creation.
So this is a pre-record. So Zoe's talking about the holidays because we're pre-recording this just about New Year's, even though it's going to show up end of February.
But I imagine even if you're not in the midst of New Year's type resolutions and you haven't been doing Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, there's the, oh geez, how did I do for Valentine's Day? And upcoming is, fill in whatever's coming next.
Well, that's why I was talking about listening. Because you see, when you actually slow down enough to hear what another person has to say from their point of view, and they're not wrong about their point of view, even if it disagrees with yours, you get pulled into the current moment of your life just by listening. See, trying to get somewhere always keeps you from being where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. My mind feels kind of blank, but I just,
Well, that was kind of profound.
Yeah. It was very profound.
That'll sweep out the ashes.
Yeah. I live in Manhattan and with my fiance, and he's visiting family in Ohio right now, and I'm staying back in New York City for a couple of days while he's in Ohio, and I've just been enjoying our apartment, and it's been just kind of like a sweet time frame. I think it's the first time I've really been just by myself in this apartment for a few days without him. And it's been sweet. Like I've just been enjoying our cats and like each day has been kind of just it's up to me to create it. And it's really easy for
if you slow down a little bit. So you're trying to fill the space right now. Kinda.
Mhm.
Kinda.
Kinda, sorta, yeah, yeah. Rather than look and see what you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be profound,
Yeah.
you know, it's okay even not to know what to say. See, we put such a pressure on ourselves to be perfect to some standard that we absorbed in the conditioning growing up in the culture, whatever culture you grow up in. See, we have another guest coming up after you who's from an entirely different culture. But it doesn't mean that this person doesn't have all the pressures to try to produce and do it right and be a good person and follow the rules.
Just through their stencil, you know,
Right.
you have the Jewish Manhattanite stencil. We all have, I have the growing up in Gresham, Oregon as a Unitarian stencil, you know, and then whatever, then over top of that came being the actress. And then there came, you know, living in the meditation center. There are all these different filters. And then there's here.
And there's this moment, and you can only be exactly as you are in this moment. And that's one of the huge gifts that life provides. You can only be exactly as you are. Now, you can worry about possible futures, but that doesn't change how you are right now.
You know, there were a few, I can't tell you how long now because it's gone. Those are a period of time in the past month or so where I had conflict within myself, much like what Shai was describing. I'm not doing enough. My house is not clean enough. My projects aren't complete enough.
You have too much stuff.
And yeah, it was an interesting thing to ride out, allow that perspective without having to change it. So, first principle of instantaneous transformation. Excuse me.
Whatever you resist persists, grows stronger, and dominates your life.
So, if you're resisting cold weather, for instance, your
Mhm.
life becomes dominated by the weather. And
Yeah.
your likes and dislikes do not change what is, they only infect your experience of you and your life going forward. So when I had the idea that I wasn't active enough or doing enough, or life kept filtering in to show me reality. And I felt a little bit like it was, I had the flu. You know, you're okay and the flu will pass, but that doesn't mean you're not nauseous or have a fever at the same time.
Mhm.
Yesterday was very interesting for me in that when we had guests over, but before they came, we had plenty of time just to wander around and do things. I polished our bathroom counters and took a Q-tip and went around and took any like little residuals around the faucet. It was so much fun. But it wasn't like I got to clean this because I'm bad, because it's not. It was what was in front of me. It requested it. I invested in it, but not to get it over with, get it done.
Mhm.
Look, even if you get it done, when you have the idea you need to get it done, that's never enough. There's always more to do.
You know, entropy will set in.
Mhm.
There's a high likelihood there'll be water spots on that thing again at some point.
The same day.
A better me would clean it up in the moment that I drop a drop of water. But that's not reality. It happens when it happens, and I clean it when I clean it, and I don't when I don't. There's this possibility, Zoe, of allowing yourself the freedom to be as you are without comparing it to how you once were, how you should be.
how you think you are in comparison to friends of yours or other teachers.
Oof.
Wow.
You know, you could give yourself a break and realize that you can't be different than you are in the current moment. So why not just enjoy it?
Sounds really good.
You see, you got this busy mind.
Do you ever compare yourself to others on Zoom when you see their background?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. You know, like I look at the colors and the pictures and how they have it set up, and I definitely compare.
Um,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I I feel like I just don't have much to say or contribute right now, but I just
Well, you see, you're still trying to produce something.
uh-huh.
What
There's
if you're
nothing,
listening
there's
to,
nothing that needs to be produced. You know, as you guys were talking about backgrounds, I look behind us because I can see behind us in
Mhm.
our video screen here on Zoom, and I see all these pictures of us with big fish that we caught years ago in Costa Rica or in Christmas Island in the Pacific Ocean, you know, different places that we've been. I've lived an extraordinary life, but being a Zen kind of guru, which is who I've turned into,
Mhm.
was not on my agenda. I didn't expect to get here this way. I didn't expect to live as long as I've lived. See?
I find it funny. We've been talking to people and they're like, oh yeah, this person is really frail. I mean, she is 85 years old or 83 years old. And I'm like, wait a minute, Shai is 85. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
eh,
you know, you can worry about how you're going to die, or you can live. You know, get into the experience of your cup of tea.
okay. I did have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is it fun to say my fiance?
Yeah, it is so fun.
Because he really is your fiance now.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, our
betrothed,
fiance. Yeah.
right?
Have you guys picked a date yet?
No, we haven't picked a date. We're just
Have you picked a year yet?
we're thinking 2027. Yeah. But
Why wait?
yeah. Oh, that's a good
I
question.
mean, really, you know, here's the problem. Your mind functions in more different and better.
Uh-huh.
And so it will avoid allowing you to be with another person as though this is it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you don't want to make a mistake. I mean, I know he's good, but maybe there's somebody who's better out there, you see.
I just want you to know from my perspective,
Uh-huh.
there's no such thing as a perfect wedding. There's just a perfect pressure to do it right.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
You know,
I,
I think one of the
You
things,
know, I think one of the things that gets in the way of great relationship is the fear of making a commitment, as in getting married,
mm,
because you never quite surrender to each other.
yeah. I mean, that's really wow. I I didn't see that, but
That's breathtaking.
yes. You're you guys have been leaving me pretty speechless, which kind of not great for a podcast, but I'm
Oh no, it
well,
may be great for a podcast.
I'll tell you what's interesting though, Zoe,
Mhm.
is what gets evoked from the two of us when you're genuinely listening.
Mm,
And so that is a very underestimated gift
that
You
you
have.
give everybody who's listening to the podcast.
Mhm.
Because it isn't like we're thinking about what to say to you. What you are asking or how you're being evokes words in us rather than we plan to say something powerful,
Well, it's kind of like you
impactful.
said, words, 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 and then you painted the word fiance in purple, and then words, words, word. I'm like, okay, so that must have been a fun word to say.
Right. I didn't realize that, but yeah, it does. It feels like a very colorful, fun word. I've been enjoying it.
Hey, thanks so much for being with us today. It's
Yes,
been a treat.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
so do we.
Hmm.
It's time for our listener feedback spotlight.
Okay, so here we go.
We're going to hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about what we're up to, you could register for any of our upcoming virtual courses.
Or sign up for our newsletter. Just visit
transformationmadeeasy.com.
It really is easy.
It is easy if you know the way.
Hi, my name is Ulf in Hamburg, in Germany, and I like participating in the podcasts of Ariel and Shire Kane because when I get off the rail track, it helps me to get back to there, to live my life in the moment.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
When you are hearing this, we will be in New Zealand. Hard to believe, but it's been kind of a lifetime
Getting kind
possibility.
of closer.
We went for it. It's kind of like folks who join us for Costa Rica. Sometimes it feels like a big leap, but wow, giving yourself what you really want is such a gift.
You see, you're only here once. I mean, there's this idea that there's reincarnation. There's this idea that there's heaven and hell. This is it. What you got is what you get. It isn't like you get better than this. This is it. This moment is where your life is taking place.
What's fun about that is
everything.
But this moment can include planning for your future. So for instance, when we come back from New Zealand, we're doing several 2-hour Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Monday, March 16th, Wednesday, March 18th, and Saturday, March 21st. You can check for the times in your time zone and see what day and time works for you. When you're here, we never would make it to New Zealand if we didn't go ahead and do all the planning in advance. If you want to come to Costa Rica with us, or you want to come to our March weekend in New York City, the 27th, 8th, and 9th, the Power of Listening, or join us in Hamburg for the Freedom to Breathe and Being Boldly You in May, it won't happen without the plans. However, that doesn't mean you have to leave here. It's more like feeling in you right here, right now, what your truth is. And if you want it, you go for it, rather than thinking about, can I manage that? Do I want to do that?
How am I going to make it happen?
It's about
looking and seeing what you want and giving yourself permission to be boldly you,
Mm.
to say, this is what I want and this is what I'm doing.
And in case you missed it, I slipped in most of the dates of the upcoming seminars. The May dates for Freedom to Breathe Thursday, May 14th, and Being Boldly You, 15th, 16th, 17th. If you want to join us for one of our upcoming seminars, or all of them, whether they're the 2-hour type or the 1 day or the weekend, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com and register. And of course, Costa Rican is open as well. Let's take our next guest.
Yes.
Gaurav, welcome to being here.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Tell people where you're zooming in from.
So my name is Gaurav and I'm from Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. And where is Winnipeg?
Winnipeg is in Canada.
All right.
And where were you born, Gaurav?
I born in India. The state is like a Punjab.
Hmm. Nice. And how long have you lived in Winnipeg?
This is my fifth year now.
Yeah.
Are you getting used to the winter yet?
Yes, I'm trying to be.
We were joking with Gaurav before this because he has one of the best wallpapers. Is that what you call the thing behind you that has the
background.
background? He's in a different room than he is on his background on other days, and it looks like it's summer outside. And he said, "I'm just faking." It was so much fun because it's what, 15 below centigrade in Winnipeg today, right?
Yes. So yeah, I'm just faking out my screen now that I am not in a Winnipeg.
What kind of weather did you grow up in India?
So the minimum it goes plus 7, 8, and the maximum it goes plus 45.
That's
Wow,
very
45
hot.
is, whoa, I don't know what that is in cells in
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Well, I'll ask.
We'll ask Siri.
Oh, what is 45 degrees in centigrade in Fahrenheit?
See what it says. Let me say it says, it didn't go.
It didn't do it.
All right.
Well, see, Siri sometimes lies.
What can we do for you today?
Yeah, it's like a funny when I was waiting for my turn and I was thinking like, oh my goodness, I don't have something to say. What can I say? And I was just listening to like Shaya and Ariel, and I was just thinking like you guys has a lot of things to say. I was in a future that when my turn will be coming and I don't have anything to say and my just hearts get beating really fast that oh my turn is yes about to come. But this is funny that the topic is also that you have to be in a present, which I was lost before.
Well, you know what's interesting? You see, you don't have to be in the present, but you are. You know, there's the present moment, there's a future and a past, but the present moment is where your life is unfolding. Now, you also have a mind, a voice that speaks to you, that tells you how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to relate to life. And that works forward and back. That isn't about the current moment. That's always projecting off to the future. So rather than just discover what we have to talk about together, you're busy working on trying to figure out what to say.
But I so love it though, Gaurav, because, and by the way, I often feel a little self-conscious because I can't seem to pronounce your name the way you do. So
I have the same thing going on.
You'll just have to please include my Western
Mispronunciation.
mouth when I pronounce your name. But He's smiling, by the way, for those of you who are listening. What you described is, I imagine, what a lot of our listeners, when they're in a business meeting and they're going around to, see what each person has to say. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're like going, oh, my turn is coming up. My turn is coming up. What am I going to say?
Well, what's really interesting is you come from a completely different cultural background than we do, but that same mindset is everywhere. It's like, what's the word?
Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous, right. It's everywhere. People in the United States worry about what to say. People in Canada worry about what to say. People in India worry about what to say. People in Germany worry about what to say. It's the same, trying to figure out the future. And that's a function of your mind, because your mind, that voice you listen to, is a survival machine. It's interested in its own survival.
And then the mind itself tries to become a better mind and say, okay, don't worry about that. But it's the same worrisome mind that's worrying, that's telling you not to worry.
It's the same noisy mind that's telling you should quiet your mind.
So did you find, as you were listening to Zoe and the two of us, from time to time, you forgot that, quote, your turn was coming up?
Yeah, like when I just try to listen to you guys, and I was like, yes, I was forgetting that, okay, my turn is about to come. I get really involved into the topics, and at that time, I just forgot that my turn is coming, and but my mind just make me shifts. Oh no, you have to be prepared about your turn again and again.
Well, I bet your mind says I have to be prepared about everything.
But that's its job. And you can, we talk about the three principles, and the third is anything you see without judging completes itself. Another way to say it might be it lets go of you. So if you recognize that your thoughts are going, oh no, I have to be prepared, and you just see that it said that, and you don't invest in it or resist it, you just allow it, your ability to listen opens up once again.
Notice is a good word.
Mm-hmm.
If you just notice the conversation that it puts forth all the time, without getting lost in thinking that conversation is you.
We used summer and winter in the description almost as a hook. Like we can have, once a person's here listening to the podcast, they're listening to the podcast. But all of our minds work in much more minute moments. So here you are in your moment from time to time worrying about your turn coming up. And if we recognize that that is our mind's job, and a better us does not get rid of that, because your mind is always going to be doing its job. It's like,
so you include it and use your eyes and see what's true for you.
Use your ears, and it keeps bringing, and we always talk about listening. Listening is such a, I don't know how to quantify
it. Creates intimacy.
It does.
It does. Because there's no need to defend when you're listening.
But when you're upset, you need to defend, because they yes.
Yeah, like
well, I'm not upset.
Like I sometimes think that I'm more happy to think about my future time offs or like the holidays, and when the weekend came, I get really nervous about the next week. Like, oh my goodness, I have one more week now, and I get really happy in the week that okay, my weekend is coming soon, 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 like that way. So I am always in the future. But yeah, this
Well,
is good practice to be
You
expressive.
sound pretty normal.
If you notice that without making it wrong, but just notice it, it'll start to lose its power over you,
Mhm.
and you'll become more able to be where you are doing what you're doing,
So that your work week becomes a celebration.
rather than something to get through to get to the good stuff, which is the weekend. Except when you get to the weekend,
You're like, what do
you're
I do
worrying
with
about the
myself?
future,
Yes.
the next week. You see,
Yeah.
You're right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Very fun. Thank you for being with us.
yes, it's
Gaurav.
really a pleasure.
Really, really.
Thank you so much for
I'm
listening
so
to my
glad.
words.
I'm so glad you met our friend Dave, who introduced you to us.
You know, it occurs to me as we're speaking to you, if you'd be willing to listen, our lives are so much richer with you in it. And we're very grateful to Dave for having introduced you, and also for you, and in a way, your bravery to come and give it a try. And then also now you're being generous with your time and your personal experience for the people listening to being here. I think sometimes people underestimate that when they invite people to this or anything that you're interested in, it's such a gift. And so thank you to all you out there who invite your friends to listen to the show, or invite your friends or family to come and join us for our seminars. We really appreciate it.
This is true.
Was that hard to hear? How much we enjoy
Appreciate
having
you.
you?
Oh, my hurts. Like,
we
but
try to
no,
slip it in
like,
gently, you see.
yes, thank you, and thank you to Dave as well. Like this is a big gift for me in this life, for being in front of you guys and just learning new skill of like listening, which I don't know before. Like I was taking listening like for granted always, but listening is a really good and really important skill. So thanks for sharing with me.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Really lovely being with you.
Again, you can subscribe to the podcast. You can share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to our newsletter. There are podcasts, blogs, information about what's upcoming. You can find out all our courses and the newsletter sign up link, and even all of the portals to sign up to subscribe to this podcast at transformationmadeeasy.com, which is perfect. That next week's episode is Don't Tell Me What to Do. That was an invitation. We weren't telling you what to do. But we'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss being here.